Hello.
Hey, Costaki Economopolis, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, man? Thanks for having me.
I am surly and belligerent. That's how I'm doing. But you know what cheers me up? Hearing your ass on the Bob and Tom show, man.
That's nice. Strong open.
I have one once in a while. So, Costaki Economopolis, regular feature on the Bob and Tom show. You're going to be hitting Jackson, Michigan, of all places, this Sunday, man, playing the brass rail. We're super stoked to have you in town, man. We had a show planned with you back. I want to say we were talking about doing something in 2020, and then the freaking world shut down. So
yes, that'll happen.
We're super stoked that this is finally happening.
Right. And it's a relatively small venue and the ticket sales have been brisk. So if you want to come, get your tickets right away. We did this as a bit of an experiment to make sure that all the pieces are in place. And it looks like we're going to sell it out and come back again sometime. So I'm very excited. Jackson's been good to me over the years. I'm happy to be coming back.
We're about it, man. I believe this is the 25th year that the Bob and Tom show has been on the air on Q106. So I guess walk us through the history a bit. How did you hook up with the Bob and Tom crew, man? You've been with them for a hot minute.
Yeah, it's a long story. The short version is I used to go through Indianapolis where they're based and tell jokes at the local club there, and they would have me in once in a while to tell some jokes and try me out, do 5 minutes like at the very end of the show and make sure it works. So I sort of bubbled up the old-fashioned way, and then eventually I had done the show so much. I sort of eked into the level where they requested me when I was somewhere nearby, and I ended up doing the show quite a bit as a comic. And then I had done the show so many times that I had kind of done all my good jokes. And I was kind of panicked. And I used to write for the Complete Sheet. People who don't know, it's a morning prep service. Yep. It's like a 100-page document that goes out to radio stations all over the world at like 5 in the morning.
It's the reason that morning show DJs who are not Bob and Tom from market to market sound the damn same. They're just all reading the same damn joke and they don't localize anything. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Die mad. I don't care.
It's fine. I hear you. I hear you. So I used to write jokes for that. So I put together like my favorite jokes from the Complete Sheet, and I did a segment on there called Topical Sounding Jokes. These are jokes that sound like they're from this week, but aren't.
Right.
So it was all like, Pac-Man turned 25 today. That's a long time to be chased by little demons. Just ask Robert Downey Jr. It was all jokes like that, right?
Yes.
And whatever, the stars aligned and they got their rim shot machine out, and it ended up being a really fun thing that happened on the morning show. There would be like some little quiet lull, and they would go, "Hey, Costaki, you got any more of those topical sounding jokes?" And I would do another line. So and it just killed. Like it was just like one of those magical things, like it all lined up. And after the show, Tom comes over and he goes, "Hey, can you do that every week?" And I said, "Yes, I can." Well, knowing that I couldn't, but I didn't want to say that to Tom Griswold. And they were very kind to me. They sort of let me figure out what the segment was. I went through a lot of different versions of what it could be. I finally landed on something called the Economonologue, and every week I would do a different subject. It was like a writing exercise. I did like phobias or anything that had bullet points, like Christmas traditions from around the world. One time I did Dante's Inferno. I was like, well, there's 9 circles of hell. Surely I could write 9 jokes, right? And then eventually, for a lot of different reasons, that ended up morphing into an all NFL version of the Economonologue, and that's how it came to be what it is now.
So one of the things that I've run into over the years, I've been doing radio stuff since like 1998, and the number of times I've seen someone who's been a stand-up comic try to make the transition to being a radio personality, sometimes it sticks.
Right.
Sometimes, and a lot of the time, because you gotta, you've experienced it. You've faced the challenge. You've faced the dragon of having to come up with a new thing every day. What do you think is the biggest hurdle that a stand-up would run into trying to make that transition from one to the other?
And sometimes there's a struggle the other direction too. They're sort of tangential skills, but they're not the same skill. And I've had the opportunity to guest host on the show a few times where I'm there for the full 4.5 hours. And it is freaking grueling. It is hard. What they do is actually amazing. They juggle balls and keep them in the air 4+ hours every day, 5 days. That's a totally different skill set than what a comic does is, work on a little pile of things and get it perfect. That's a totally different skill than you have to say something that you've never said before and be interesting sort of indefinitely. That's a very different skill set. So I think there's a little bit of, I mean, comics have the same sort of weird rivalry with improv actors. It's a tangential skill that's not the same skill. And I think comics don't fully appreciate how hard it is to be an improv actor, a radio DJ, a comic actor in a film or a television. I mean, these are all things that are some of the same skills, but really not the same skill. So yeah, I've always, in being fortunate enough to have some of these other experiences, I've been a writer for a minute, and I've dabbled ever so briefly in acting, and I've done some radio. You kind of go, oh man, I'm not good at this. This is a whole different thing. It's much different than what I do, you know?
So keep in mind, we are doing this thing in Michigan. So that this may be a slightly loaded question.
Oh.
Being the NFL correspondent, the NFL guy for the Bob and Tom Show, which NFL franchise is most ripe for joke material?
Oh, wow. That's well, you're leading me down the path to the Lions. Are certainly top 5. I'm a lifelong Falcons fan. So at the end of the season, sometimes I'll go back through and look at I'll search, and there's always like 10 times as many Falcons jokes as any of the other franchises. And it's the nature of me being a fan, and I watch them more closely, and I'm frustrated, and they suck, and they're driving me bananas. But yeah, Lions are top 5, Browns are top 5. And of course, this year, Tom Brady has been a gift from the comedy gods. It's been fun to make fun of him and everything that he's going through. So it varies from year to year, of course. Every once in a while, there's a team you think is going to be good that's really not. And so the Packers are kind of that this year. That's been fun to joke about. The Rams also are not good. Here I am in LA, the land of cancel culture. Can we cancel the Rams season yet? Cripes.
It was fun to watch Matthew Stafford do his thing last year.
That's great.
Like,
yeah.
It's been slightly, I mean, he paid his dues in the Lions. There's no doubt about that.
I know.
He earned that move up for sure.
My joke on that was every year he was home for the Super Bowl every year of his career, right? The first 12 he was home with the Lions, and then he was home with the Rams last year. And now they're terrible. What happened? I don't understand.
The wheels absolutely fell off that bus. I am, as a native Cincinnatian, I am relieved to hear you not mention the Bengals yet.
Not yet. No, the Bengals have been fun too. The Bengals have more ankle bracelets than Super Bowl rings.
Hey, there it is. There it is. I was waiting for it. I knew it was going to show up sooner or later.
But the Bengals are good this year. They're harder to write jokes about. So they've got a quarterback. They've got some great wideouts, maybe 2 of the best in the league, maybe 3 of the best. I like the Bengals.
My fantasy team looks pretty good thanks to plucking some orange and black off the wall.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you get Chase back this week probably. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
There you go. Now, prior to moving to mid-Michigan to do the Q106 thing, I lived in Wisconsin for nearly 18 years, and when it comes to the Packers, in my experience, I find the Packers fans are like the Trekkies of the NFL. Like, they know the most obscure stuff about like the 4th string kicker from the Packers, like when they were not worth watching there. But that dude, he will have a line of people waiting to meet him at the grocery store for a signing. It is incredible, the passion of that fandom.
Yeah, well, you'll appreciate this. This is a true story that I'll sometimes tell on stage. And whenever I'm in Wisconsin, my NFL chunk in my act always grows a little bit because they're into it, man. They love all the details. I did a weird thing where I met my mom and I brought my kid. So my mom could run around, and we did a bunch of gigs in Wisconsin. So we landed in Milwaukee, and it was a Friday afternoon, and we're walking through the airport, and my mom goes, "Is there a game today or something?" And I said, "Nope, that's just how they dress here." Every single person is wearing a Packers jersey, a Packers shirt, a Packers leather jacket, a Packers scarf, a Packers belt. You know how it is. They're a hat. They're into it like on a Friday for no reason, just on the way to their regular life. It's fun.
Weddings. funeral. I mean,
Yes,
like,
right.
real talk. I have
I
been
know.
to weddings and funerals in Wisconsin where you're supposed to get dressed up a bit, and there's a dude wearing a Favre jersey. It's
Yeah.
insanity. Okay, that kind of went away when he moved to the Vikings, but still,
Yeah,
that
yes,
was
yeah,
the
that's
thing,
right.
man.
I know. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but you're not hitting Wisconsin this weekend. This weekend you were hitting the thriving metropolis of Jackson. What's your favorite thing about visiting Michigan?
Oh, I love Michigan. Michigan's been great to me over the years. I've done gigs all over the place. I've been up to Soaring Eagle Casino up north. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a tough day at the tables there. I have to change it to Sore A-hole. I've done Traverse City. I've done tons of stuff down south in like South Bend area, over at Kalamazoo, and back in the day, I used to do downtown Detroit quite often. I was there recently for a Billy Joel concert, by the way.
Nice.
Detroit catches a lot of hell about, it catches so much hell when you envision it. You're like, is it like Beirut or whatever? I love Detroit. Now, it was a little bit of a special night. It was like 35,000 Billy Joel fans wandering the city. So that's not what normally is happening, but
Safety
I
in
love
numbers.
I love Greektown and the casinos down there and the Greek food, and there's Detroit's got some life, man. I dig it. Plus it's got some blue collar grittiness about it, which I think is why they like this coach. And they're not winning, but they're fun to watch, and they've got some real passion, and they're I suspect that I suspect he'll be around a little bit, even if they don't have a winning record. He's made the team watchable again. At least the offense is good.
Right. There you go. So, Costaki, I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate here. I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
As we wind into the end of the NFL fantasy season,
Yeah.
you have to know. I mean, look, dude, you're a professional comedian. What is, and if there's one thing that I love coming up with every single year that we do a fantasy football league, is the art of the team name. And
the team name.
Yeah. What is your all-time favorite fantasy football team name that you have come up with over the years?
Oh, that I've come up with. Well, I won a championship with Fat Bottom Gurley. He makes the rockin' world go round. That guy. That was one of my favorites. I used to have way back in the day, I had Calvin Johnson, Chris Johnson, Andre Johnson. And so my team name was Three-Headed Johnson. That was fun. This year it's Mahomes alone because he's the only one on my team who's showing up. The rest of my team sucks. And I've got sort of a couple of go-to names. I'm Beer Pants in a few leagues, and I'm Greek Streak in a couple leagues. And so it varies from league to league. I'm into it. I've been in 5 leagues this year. This is my first year doing a dynasty league, which I love. We did a slow draft. Are you in a dynasty league yet?
I was in one in Wisconsin. I'm trying to talk my office mates into that here. And I think Dynasty is the way to go. It really is.
It really is. Yeah. For the listener who might be more of a casual fan of it all, in fantasy, you do a draft at the beginning of the season. You have this whole story arc kind of for the season. In Dynasty, you do one draft ever, and you build this giant roster, and you can add and subtract guys, but you don't do any more drafts. You're sort of massaging and running a team indefinitely. And so you can have a player on your team for 10 years. It's not unusual. So you get a lot more, there's a lot more oomph in it. There's a lot more ebbs and flows and terrible years and fantastic years. And I'm excited about it. I've never been in one before. So I love all the dorky stuff. I do all the little side bets and the pick'em leagues and the suicide pool. I'm in everything. I just love football.
I love it, man. Well, Costaki, we love hearing you talk about it during the Bob and Tom show. I'm guessing it's going to feature prominently into your set this Sunday, Brass Rail in Jackson. Dude, my wife's actually going to go out with me and be seen in public with me. We look
awesome.
So make sure you tell jokes and get her in the mood for stuff. I want to enjoy myself after the show.
You know what? I don't even do Sunday shows often because that's a big work day for me. So this will be a fun exercise because I will be running the jokes that I wrote within the several hours prior. So you get a sneak peek at what I do on Bob and Tom on Tuesday morning, on Sunday night at Brass Rail.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to be partying in Jackson, so you're probably going to be too hungover to listen to Bob and Tom the next morning anyway. Costaki. Okay, Costaki, we appreciate you, man. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday, dude.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you.
Be well. Take care.